Hi everybody, welcome. I can't say welcome back because I have not been on this channel in a while myself, so I guess I should welcome myself back. Anyway, let's get right into why I did this video in such a hurry. I think most of you here will know about little Summer Wells, a 5-year-old who disappeared from her home on the 5th of June 2021. There are so many YouTubers talking about Summer's disappearance that I do not wish to go into the whole story once again, and especially not so late in the game. There are many channels you can go watch if you would like to catch up on all the intrigue of the Summer World story, because, by golly, there had been so much that there is no way I can catch up on it all at this stage. I have a few favorites who I like to tune into when it comes to this particular case. Ones like Michelle After Dark, Aaron Mill, and a few others, but I'll place a few links below this video. I do find the case and many of the videos highly frustrating, and mainly because I see things so differently from everybody else, or so it appears, even the ones I do like. I find myself sitting on the edge of my seat every time, waiting for one of them to mention one of the things I have noticed, but it is just not happening. I even tried to contact a few YouTubers in order to share some of my thoughts, but either they do not care about my opinion or they just do not get to my email, and that is okay. But in the meantime, little Summer is still missing and the case has not yet been solved. So I think that any observation or opinion based on the facts of the case should receive some attention. So, based on what Summer's parents, and her mother in particular, said, Summer disappeared from their home, and the only people on the property that they know of was Mom Candace, Grandma Candace, or now called Grandis, and the three boys aged 12, 11, and 9 at the time. In the mother's story, they come home from a long excursion to a nearby town where Grandis attended a hospital or clinic for her knee. They had a prescription filled, they bought groceries, and the kids, Summer and Hunter, a friend's son, even had a swim at a place called Warriors or the Horse Pond. There are a few discrepancies about their day, but that is not why I'm here today. So many YouTubers have discussed this over and over, and although I think the outing did play a role in Summer's disappearance, I truly feel that there are others who laid it out more meticulously, and therefore I am not going to go through it right now. Anyway, according to the mother, they dropped off Hunter and drove home straight away. They unpacked the groceries, Grandis went to a trailer, Candace did some chores, at some point saw her mother sitting in front of a trailer, and they then decided to plant some cactuses or succulents. According to Mom Candace, Summer joined them, and at some point Summer wanted to go home and play, and Candace, Mom Candace, walked her to the house and told the boys who were playing computer games and watching television to watch Summer. According to Candace, she returned to her mother's trailer where she helped Grandis with her knee brace, whereafter she returned home to find Summer missing. According to Candace, Mom Candace, from the moment she left Summer to the moment she returned home could not have been more than 2 minutes, but that could just be a manner of speaking, and in my opinion, it could have been 5 to 20 minutes. However, as the story progressed, it became clearer and clearer that both parents, Candace and Don, had addiction problems, and there were obvious signs of neglect of both the children and the home. So there were signs that everything was not exactly kosher in the home. Also, reports of domestic violence, etc. Both parents also have criminal records with allegations of SA towards the father, Don. However, none of this really influenced my opinion. At this age, I have seen it all at one point in my life. I'm also a true crime addict and have been for most of my life, and had listened to so many stories from around the world. And I know that often things are not what they seem. And this led me to my first frustration in this case. So many YouTubers are saying or predicting that this case is complicated, or that there is more to it, more behind it than meets the eye. There are ones predicting that the outcome will surprise us, or will be a complicated, convoluted outcome. So many people's names have been dragged into the story: neighbors, friends, even members of the congregation at the church they attended. And every fiber of my being has rebelled against this notion. And here, very quickly, is why. Firstly, TBI and the FBI had made it very clear that there is no sign or any indication of an abduction. Secondly, the terrain, the circumstances, and the timing of Summer's disappearance does not correspond with Summer being abducted by a stranger, or really anyone else for that matter. The risk of being seen or heard was too high. The risk of not being able to get away unseen or unheard was too high. There were 13 dogs on the premises. Summer could have screamed, or a multitude of things could have happened or gone wrong. The terrain and the fact that there were 2 adults, another 3 children, and 13 dogs on the premises created too many unknowns for any perpetrator, and far too many risk factors. In my opinion, the case is likely to turn out to be much simpler than anyone seems to think. As a matter of fact, this is the first case I have ever dreamt about, and in my dream, Candace was strung out, or drunk, or high, and very irritable. Summer was trying to get Candace's attention, or wanted something from her, and like a typical 5-year-old, was nagging Candace. In my dream, Candace told Summer to stop it, to leave her alone. Summer was starting to become louder and almost tearful when Candace jumped up and told her to run, as she will be in huge trouble if and when she catches her. In my dream, Candace told her she will wring her neck if she catches up with her. At that point, where Summer was actually running with Candace behind her, I woke up. Now, this was just a dream, but it is very, very indicative of what I think happened. In my opinion, derived from balancing probabilities and facts of the case, of which there are actually very few, the only people to be looked at in this case are the ones who were at home that afternoon, namely Candace, Grandis, and the boys. At this point, YouTubers have come up with a number of possible scenarios. Summer was sold for drug money or to cover drug debt. Summer was handed off to someone as CPS was about to visit, and her parents did not want her to go into foster care. There was an accident, which the parents covered up as they were afraid of losing the boys or being held accountable due to neglect. Even Satanism was offered up as a possible cause or reason. And right from the beginning, I dismissed Satanism or sacrifices, and I dismissed them handing her off to prevent her going into foster care, because Don himself said the boys were better off in care and the boys were taken anyway. So that left me with them selling her or trading her for drug debt or an accident being covered up or plain old murder. In the case of Summer being sold or traded, we can obviously rule the boys out as suspects. And I seriously have a feeling that the whole idea that Summer was sold or traded is very unlikely. Not that it does not happen, but I just do not see it happening in that area or in such an area of rural Tennessee. And it's also not that there are no bad people in rural Tennessee. I'm sure there are. But again, a trade or sale scenario can be too easily spotted or noticed, as there are less people and people are more prone to being in each other's business. So personally, I would suspect that people in rural Tennessee would be more prone to, say for instance, breaking kneecaps for drug debts than kidnapping or trading for a child. But I guess it is a possibility, and in which case our suspects would be Summer's mother and or father. The accident scenario. There are classifications of accidents and accidents. The real accident, where someone falls down a flight of stairs or trips over a tree trunk, etc., etc. And then there's the kind of accident where someone does something to someone else during play or even out of frustration or anger, and which results in death and or the other person being harmed or seriously hurt. This person did not mean to kill the other person, perhaps only to scare them or maybe to hurt them a little. They could even have been thinking nothing at all, but just acted in the moment. And that is what I think is likely to have happened. I'm saying most likely. I'm not going to dismiss everything else as we don't know, but things that I have seen and heard over the last week or two coming out of the mouths of the two adults who, by their own admission, were on the premises that day. And those are the very things which is now convincing me more and more that there was an accident of some sort that day, a real accident, like I said, falling down the stairs or tripping over a tree trunk, an accident during play, or an accident out of anger or frustration. On further reflection and inspection, I am inclined to rule out an accident during play, as the boys would have, in their ignorance and immaturity, called out, 911 would have been called, and there would have been no reason whatsoever to hide any of it. For the very same reason, I am ruling out a straightforward accident, like Summer falling down the stairs to the basement, or tripping, or falling outside. With an unexpected accident, the natural reaction would be to call for help. And again, there would have been absolutely nothing to hide. Yes, they may have gotten trouble from CPS due to the condition of the home or the police for neglect, but the fact remains that it would have been a natural, normal instinct to call for help if it was truly an accident where no other party or another party in, say, an active play were involved. Now we're getting to my number one theory, a malicious accident. Candace was tired when they returned home. She did not have a proper drink all day. She has not had a proper joint, nor has she popped any pills because she was driving. It was also very warm that day. So, getting home, they put the groceries away, and Candace has a quick drink, or smoked a joint, or whatever she did to still the craving. She went to lie down, but Summer slept in the car and was up and about. Her brothers did not want to play with her because they were playing computer games. So she went and complained to Candace. Candace wanted none of it and told her off. Summer barely had anything to eat all day, so she complained to Candace that she was hungry. And now Candace was really irritable. This continued until Candace was so angry that she told Summer, "You better run, because if I catch you, I'm going to hit you, wring your neck," or whatever she threatened Summer with. Summer screamed and ran. Candace caught up with her, maybe did not mean to really kill her, but maybe the blow she gave her, or the shove, or the shake, was violent enough that it killed Summer. Candace called Don, and he told her to call 911. But before she could do so, she realized that Summer was not breathing, and a new story was concocted and a plan made, either between Grandma and Candace, or Candace and Don. Candace and Grandma, or just Candace, then went and hid the body, and once the baby was safely out of the way, they called the police. Now, hiding the body initially may not have been all that difficult. It is, after all, a rural area, and it was already 6:30 when they called the police. So, how far did they search that first night? A 2 or 3 or 4 kilometer radius? Well, that is how far they needed to go to hide Summer initially. Wrapped in a couple of black bags like J.J. Vallow and placed in a suitcase or sports bag like Gannon Starr, it would take a few days, if at all, for a smell to be easily detected. Okay, and then it is quite possible that Candace or Don or even Grandma, likely Don or Candace, moved it a few days later on their way to the police station, on his way to work, and it is also very likely that Candace collected it on her way to Wisconsin and dumped it somewhere, just like in the case of Gannon Starr. Remember, Don went back to work about a week after Summer's disappearance, and Candace and Grandma went to the water park a week or two later. So they were all indeed moving around. Another possibility is that they burned the body at a later stage, but we'll get to that. The other reason why I am convinced Candace did whatever was done is because she is telling us so. I'm not subscribed to Candace's channel, but I am watching it, and the first clue is in the video Candace posted, where it appears as if the children are dancing in the fire. But it is not only the imaging behind the children, but also the background music, which is telling me something. As a matter of fact, my grandson recognized the music as something often played in YouTube videos, TikTok videos, and online games as a sort of predictor of a disaster or a scare. The word run is inserted into the music just before disaster strikes. And indeed, when I listened carefully to Candace's video, you can actually hear the word run. When I heard that, my blood ran cold, as it was such an unreal reflection of my dream. Anyway, why on earth would Candace choose that imagery, that particular piece of music? In my opinion, that is a reflection of Candace's anger, bitterness, and hate directed at her own children. I tried, but I cannot unsee what I saw and heard in that short clip. Candace's fiery anger at her children, which is burning inside of her, and how she wishes she could react to that anger. There are signs of a deep-seated anger, no matter which way you look at it. Maybe she blames the children subconsciously for the situation she currently finds herself in. Maybe it is a subconscious warning or threat to her children not to spill the beans. Maybe that is why she used that particular soundtrack, similar to my dream in which she told Summer to run or else. As if that was not enough, Candace did a live shortly after that video in which she said something very strange. She was obviously intoxicated or medicated or something else, but as we know, being in that condition tends to lower inhibitions. Well, during this live, Candace said that if she could have her kids back, she will never drink again and never do anything to them again. So, what did she do to them if she says she will never do anything to them again? Well, Candace, what did you do? We heard a variety of stories concerning her cruelty towards her children. For example, making them lie down on warm paving. And then there are her previous or first two children. The fact that they were permanently removed and the boy suffered permanent brain damage because of abuse and the charges she faced afterwards. Taking all of that into consideration, I am sure that what Candace said was indeed an admission of the abuse she inflicted on her children. And I have a very strong feeling that the abuse, outbursts of anger, frustration was fueled by alcohol, and that is what led to Summer's demise. Guys, this is a very, very sad story and something I wish we could all have done something to prevent, but we couldn't. All we can do is perhaps to be aware that it happens, and if we see something, say something, because that is the only way we can do anything to prevent this from happening ever again. Until we meet on the next video, be it here or on my other channel, take good care of yourselves. Bye.
Run.